Yeah, I think you might be right now.
Yeah.
All right, over here in the bottom right, can he turn this game around? He is. This series around, he is.
Master CJ enters Bbyong.
Like he didn't split his SCVs around as perfectly as Flash did. Can he come back? In the upper right, looking unstoppable. He is.
Master KT Roaster Flash.
You know, to add on top of all the hardships that Bbyong has here, between the embarrassment of last game, the intimidation factor of Flash, etc., positionally speaking, Flash has a slight advantage because his natural does cover his main base from drops. If Bbyong wants to drop in the main base, he has to fly so far around, it's much slower.
Yeah, that is very true. On this map, though, you know, when you are both hugging the right side of the map, another thing that you can end up doing is hiding expos in the
that's
center
very
left.
true.
We don't see it actually as often as we did in Brood War, but I think eventually when the game gets a bit more refined, we'll probably start seeing some more stuff like that, because we also don't see people really scouting those spots on the map.
That's
either.
so true. I always wonder about that because, yeah, we don't actually. The thing is, I think people are relying upon being like, "There's something wrong." You know, there's.
Do you remember
shouldn't you have more units, or shouldn't you be attacking me and then maybe scouting? But still, it makes me a little bit nervous because you don't ever see everything going on.
Well, we've seen historically in RTS games players play like that consistently and actually have major success. If you remember on WG Tour, that player Kiwi.
Oh yeah,
he hid. Literally, this guy played random, and he hid a base
every game.
Every game. And what's funny is you could download people's replays off World Game Tour. Yeah. This guy still got to number 1. I was like, "Who's this guy?" And I downloaded all his games, and I'm like, "He's hid." In 39 out of 40 games that I've seen so far, he hit a base, and people just didn't scout it.
It's really funny, actually, to see things like that. Well, that some people become really stylistic, and then their opponents do nothing against it. For instance, Hiva versus Fantasy. Fantasy went, after the first 2 games last week, triple command, double
The greatest series I ever casted, by the way, of my career.
Most unbelievable series of all time.
Where were you the day when that series was played? That's what they're going to be asking.
Write that one down.
Yeah.
And Tasis and I went home and got our cement out and got our handprints and wrote the date and made a placard for the wall for that series.
Yeah. So,
all right. Well, Bbyong going for a super fast expansion here with a gas. So command center first, whereas Flash opening up with a factory. And, you know, that's not at all surprising. You know, if you're, like, way better than your opponent, if you feel like you're way better, opening up with something that at least has some pressure in it is really quite nice. Yeah, because you're going to be able to fight back if it doesn't work out perfectly. And also it's going to throw them off a little bit. In fact, I've been talking to Theognis a little bit about this recently, about how aggressive play is almost better in tournaments a lot of the times because there's so much more pressure on, and you know, if you can get your opponent to start faltering. If people mess up
and lose a few workers, it's already become so stressful and traumatizing.
Yeah. And it's, you know, I think that's something that Flash uses to his advantage sometimes.
All right, so Flash coming here now, and if he controls this right, and he doesn't, I was going to say he could kill that Marine, but all right.
Well, so Flash, his couple Marine harass doing a good job.
Yeah.
Do you have no sound again?
I don't have any sound. Actually, we might.
We'll have to get that fixed.
Yeah, we'll get the sound back in the game here as soon as possible for you guys. So, you know, this has so far been looking pretty one-sided. I think this actually Widow Mine drop should do a lot of damage.
You think?
There's not a lot of anything for our Orange Terran Bbyong to defend here.
Yeah, he's getting some Hellions.
Defend with here.
And, you know, as his starport finishes, if he goes straight into Viking, that can be helpful, but we'll see what he does with this. By the way, I really like that Flash already has a depot over on the left side of the map. I really like that, because as we were saying, the drops have to go so far around, that might be a scout path, a path that Bbyong sends one on, possibly. And that's somewhere he'll never scout for a depot.
Yeah, exactly. He'll only find out about that when his drop is spotted there.
It's the only way.
All right, here we go.
Oh, boy.
And will these mines connect?
Oh, that was a really great SCV pullback to really damage the Marines quite a bit. That was nice by Bbyong.
All right, now he's got to be careful. He should pick up here.
And he even saves that. All right. And
did he actually? Okay, there's another Widow Mine over there.
There's one more over there. And now what he's doing here is splitting up the Widow Mine so that it's going to take 2 scans. But
well, he can actually attack the ground on there like this.
He will too.
Mark my words.
Go ahead. There you go. We know you want to do it. All right.
Oh, if he gets this one snuck over here.
Oh, it looks like he'll get about 2 SCVs, maybe? No. Yeah, okay, 2.
Oh, he tried to get a little bit more than that, but
Flash
not
probably,
too effective.
I think Flash targeted that, actually.
It might have been.
Because he has their SCVs a bit closer, and that's normally how
very true.
they target, so.
And the Banshee's coming up over here now. Puma Range is just going to drop down. Actually, if you can even get that Viking, that would be really nice.
Imagine if he got this Viking.
He does.
Did Flash just do that, and now there's a Banshee in Byong's... Poor Bbyong. This is so painful.
This is kind of sad, actually.
Flash is just ripping him apart, Tasteless.
Yeah. You know, we've talked about this before, but sometimes we see an epic match between 2 players, and the other time it's like watching a lion eat a gazelle.
That's very much what this is like.
This is watching a lion eat a gazelle right now.
Yeah.
This is not... I can talk about it like, ooh, he's ripping the gazelle's leg apart now, but that's delicious for him.
The gazelle's been dead for 3 minutes. It's not even twitching. But Bbyong actually coming with this little counterattack here. And looks like he is actually walled up, so it looks like he can only get a couple more SCVs here.
Yeah.
Siege tank there that stops all the harassment for now. But
looks like this turret's almost up.
Not anymore.
But there's more and more kills are coming up here.
Oh god, 2 Banshees now. And if he keeps starting the SCVs building it, he can actually get even more. Oh my god.
He basically has those SCVs, that group,
Flash.
spamming right-click on that turret.
Flash just killed 24 SCVs.
And now he's going to go for these depots simply because that's the next closest thing he can hit. He might go for the reactor after this, or the tech lab even.
I'm feeling for Bbyong. This is what my games look like when I hit like Grandmaster Korean Zerg Tasteless. This is right now he's being so ridiculously outclassed.
Yeah.
Which is, you know,
look at this. He just barely got away there with that Banshee. Another Banshee now coming in here. And a push over here towards the front of Bbyong's base.
This push will be able to end it. There's almost no units for Bbyong out. He has, right now, a Viking and 3 Hellions. And, no, I guess he has 5 Hellions now and 2 Widow Mines. But, yeah, that should not end up being it.
Well, the siege tanks are so good against the Hellions here.
Yeah, and the Widow Mines, I'm not even trying to find... Oh,
yeah, where are they?
Main base, actually, to try to help out with Banshees. Well, and Micro's well against the Marines, so that's nice.
Now getting this tech lag up here on the starport. The reactor already has been destroyed. And now retreating with this Banshee.
Well, it looks like Bbyong will make Flash turn around for now.
That was a pretty scrappy army that he had there. Now, this would be one great way for Bbyong to start coming back, because if he got all these siege tanks up here.
Yeah, that would be nice. Let's see. He is getting Cloak right now, and he's actually adding a couple factories, which I think is completely correct. I think that's actually wait, did he just cancel? Yeah,
it was a cancel, and then he remade it. It might have been hitting it so fast.
Yeah, he just canceled 2 factories.
Oh, did he?
Yeah. So Bbyong was making 2 factories, then just canceled them, and that... I'm wondering if he clicked wrong and was trying to cancel something else?
Well, he might be panicked at this point in time, and now this Banshee goes down.
Yeah.
I think we have another counterattack then from Flash, right?
Yeah.
And if you look at it, the starport and the factory both making these add-ons for so long, he hasn't been making any attacking units.
And he restarted the 2 factories he canceled in the natural.
And okay, you beat me to it. I was going to say those are in the natural, which is weird because they're going to be forced to move if this attack is as strong as it looks like it's going to be. I think Bbyong has basically fallen apart in this series. This might be one of the worst series we've seen from Bbyong in a while.
Yeah, it might be his least impressive ever, unfortunately. But this is actually what can absolutely happen when you play probably the person that Bbyong grew up as a pro gamer, watching, emulating, worshiping.
Admiring. Yeah. Well, very one-sided series so far. We should have seen the command center lift. We'll probably see a tap out with a GG here. Assuming this Banshee doesn't do any damage, it's too tremendous.
Yeah. You know, he can even kill quite a few SCVs, and he doesn't look like he will, but just the difference right now that you can see in supplies, a 30-plus supply lead for Flash, the fact that he's already sieging up the main base.
We don't have any anti-air, do we?
No.
Where's that Viking? I guess it was picked off.
He's going to attack through these Vikings.
I guess so.
No problem.
Well, this has been a pretty impressive series here from Flash, I gotta say. Although I think you're right, it does look like one of these games where it's like a Masters, low Masters against a high Grandmasters.
It was very one-sided, tasteless, unfortunately.
Yeah.
And this does happen from time to time, even in the top 16 of Korea. Sometimes you get a mismatch.
Oh, yeah,
Such
absolutely.
as this, or, you know, Not that Bbyong, maybe his best games definitely don't look like this. I think there's some nerves involved, definitely some bad luck involved as well. Nothing went right for him here.
There's not really a lot to say about that series. I mean, we could talk about what went wrong for Bbyong, but overall it was just, I think, nerves playing too much of a role.
Yeah.
And a lot of his hard work and practice never really got to be implemented in that game.
Look, there's no question Bbyong is much better than what we saw. And if he was playing on the ladder against a barcode right there, I think that game would have been way better, and so would have the one before.
I think so.
I think everything would have just looked a lot better. But he's in the booth, on TV. That's Clyde, yeah. Clyde's everywhere. Clyde.
How
did you teach Flash to be so good?
Clyde? Okay. Well, I mean, again, guys, a pretty straightforward series. Not the best games you've ever seen. Flash played well. Bbyong could not keep it together.
Well, I mean,
fell apart.
When you're playing someone who's coached by Clyde himself, I mean, what are you going to do?
Come on,
Bbyong.
Well, Bbyong will be back. We'll see a lot more of him, but right now, not looking very happy with the hand he's been dealt here in this tournament.
I think he did greatly this season, but I do feel like he's still a little bit closer to Challenger League level. I don't know if he's going to get back in next season.
Yeah.
He definitely could, but I think he's going to be like a player kind of like Keen was for so long, where he's kind of floating in between Challenger League and Premier League.
I think you might be right. Well, we're halfway through our 4 best of 3s today, but these next 2 are the ones that really matter.
They are. These are the ones where people actually win or lose, and it really
the results actually mean something.
Yeah,
so
that's huge.
That is huge. And we'll be going to our next best of 3 after this short break, so don't go anywhere.